John Adams was born on October 30, 1735 in Braintree, Massachusetts, now Quincy, Massachusetts, which would become influential in the American struggle for independence. His father was a person engaged in farming and volatile business ventures. Because of this, Adams had a difficult childhood, working in agricultural jobs at a young age. His parents instilled in him a solid work ethic and a sense of responsibility. After successfully graduating from Harvard College in 1755, he joined Harvard Law School to advance in the field of law. During his education, he was noted for an extraordinary mental capacity and a deep analytical thinking ability. This early period of education formed the basis for his future political and legal career. After graduating from Harvard Law School, John Adams began practicing law in Massachusetts to develop his skills in the field of law and step into his profession. Here's his career during this period. Adams began practicing law in Braintree, Massachusetts, and soon attracted attention for his abilities. He has had a rapidly growing client base and has taken on various important cases. His clients included local business owners, landowners, and other citizens. December. Thanks to his legal skills, willingness to win cases, and understanding of the complexity of the law, he soon became a respected figure in the legal community in Massachusetts. In particular, the political events and turbulent period of the period were one of the factors that shaped his legal career. Over time, he not only practiced law, but also his interest in public affairs and politics increased. During this period, he had taken his first steps towards becoming a leading advocate of the independence movement in America. This laid the foundations for his future political career. John Adams' early legal career was an important stage that allowed him to rise as a leader in America and participate in the struggle for independence. John Adams became one of the prominent figures in the Massachusetts colony's struggle for independence during the American Revolutionary War. Here's his role in this period. Adams led the Massachusetts colony's independence movement from the start of the Revolutionary War. He encouraged the people for independence with his powerful speeches and decrees, which received wide support among the people. It increased the belief of the Massachusetts colony in the idea of independence. He also played an important role in the preparation of the Declaration of Independence. Adams worked closely with Thomas Jefferson in the penning of the Declaration of Independence. In 1776, he became one of the 5 signatories to the Declaration of Independence and left a lasting mark on American history with his support for this document. Adams' courageous and decisive leadership contributed to raising morale throughout the war, strengthening solidarity between the colonies, and increasing decency in the struggle for independence. His leadership during this period played a critical role in the struggle of the American people for freedom and independence. John Adams held a historic post as one of the first ambassadors of the United States, along with Benjamin Franklin and John Jay. Here are the services during this period. During the American Revolutionary War, Adams served as the first United States ambassador to France. Its mission was to provide diplomatic support to the American revolutionaries, defend the American independence movement in Europe, and support the war effort. During Adams' mission in France, he intensified his diplomatic efforts to support the war effort. He encouraged the French government to support his efforts in the American Revolutionary War and made efforts to achieve international recognition of the American revolutionaries. In addition, Adams participated in the peace negotiations following the American Revolutionary War. As a result of these peace negotiations, the Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783 and the independence of the United States was officially recognized. This historic mission of Adams contributed to the success of America's struggle for independence by ensuring that the young nation was recognized internationally. John Adams, who became the second president of the United States after George Washington in 1789, served as an influential leader on the country's foreign relations and domestic politics. Here are some important points about this period. Adams' presidential term is an important test for the young American democracy. Internally, the strife between the political parties increased, and the deconfliction between the Federalists and the Democrat-Republicans deconflicted more and more. This created instability in domestic politics and tested Adams' leadership abilities. In foreign policy, Adams' presidential term was fraught with tensions in relations with European powers such as France and Great Britain. Relations with France reached a climax with the crisis known as the XYZ incident, and this crisis put Adams' leadership through a tough test. Adams made efforts to maintain the country's security and independence, but had to contend with the difficulties and criticism he faced throughout his term. In this process, although he displayed a determined leadership throughout his presidential term, he encountered some limitations in the political arena and before the public. Throughout his presidency, Adams' leadership played an important role in strengthening the American state tradition and managing the country's foreign relations despite the difficulties at that time. Adams' leadership contributed to the evolution and strengthening of the young American democracy. During the presidential term of John Adams, the XYZ incident, which caused tension in relations with the French government and was an important test of Adams's foreign policy, was one of the most turbulent events of the period. Here is some basic information about this event. The XYZ incident was a crisis between the United States and France December 1797-1798. France has come up with allegations that it demanded bribes from American representatives. This incident was met with a great reaction from the American people and led to a serious diplomatic crisis between America and France. December. Adams took a firm stance against this attitude of France and fought to protect America's national interests. During this period, Adams' leadership played a decisive role in the efforts to preserve the unity and integrity of the country and in efforts to ensure national security. The XYZ event was a challenging process that tested Adams' leadership skills and determination. This crisis tested Adams' foreign policy abilities and revealed how he acted as a committed leader about the country's security. As a result, Adams' attitude and determination during this period emphasized the strength and independence of the United States in foreign policy. The XYZ incident has gone down in history as one of the most challenging foreign policy issues that Adams faced during his presidential term. John Adams acted as a prominent member and leader of the Federalist Party during his presidential term. The Federalist Party adopted policies at that time that supported a strong central government and prioritized national security. Here are the main policies of the Federalist Party under Adams' leadership during this period. The Federalist Party advocated the existence of a strong central government to promote the development of the national economy, support industry, and ensure the increase of trade. This included the regulation of tax policies and fiscal policies by a central authority. In addition, the Federalists advocated the existence of a strong national defense force and the adoption of a stable policy in foreign relations. In this context, under Adams' leadership, the Federalist Party believed that close relations with Great Britain should be maintained and shaped its policies accordingly. The Federalist Party opposed the strengthening of local governments, emphasizing the powers of the central government. This policy understanding was an important point in the political discussions of that period and was at the center of the policies of the Federalist Party. Under Adams' leadership, the Federalist Party followed a line in the American state tradition that emphasized the importance of a strong central government and supported taking the necessary steps to protect national security. These policies revealed Adams' leadership abilities and political vision in the political arena at that time. During the presidential term of John Adams, the passage of the xenophobic and sedition laws attracted attention. These laws were aimed at limiting anti-government activities and the citizenship process of foreigners under Adams' administration. Here are some important details about this period. The xenophobic law limited the entry of foreigners into the country and allowed for their deportation in some cases. This law was aimed at alleviating concerns, in particular about the security and internal stability of the United States. The sedition law aimed to limit critical speeches and written statements made against the government and government officials. This law was intended as a step towards the suppression of anti-government activities. These laws were a reflection of the desire of the Federalist Party at that time to combat anti-government tendencies. However, these laws have also been accused of restricting freedom of expression and critical thinking against the government. These laws, passed during Adams' presidential term, have gone down in history as a point of focus on the political debates and sensitivities about constitutional rights at that time. These laws attracted attention as a reflection of the policies and authoritarian tendencies implemented during Adams' term. John Adams' loss against Thomas Jefferson in the election, which was a turning point in his political career, was an important turn in his political life. Here are some important details about this period. Adams, who lost against Thomas Jefferson in the presidential election that took place in 1800, decided to stay in the background in the political arena with this result. The election led to the loss of control of the Federalist Party and the Democratic-Republican Party gaining power. Adams' failure in the election marked the end of an era in his political career. This election result caused Adams to step away from active political life and withdraw from the political arena for a while. After the election, Adams chose to stay away from politics, focusing on his family and personal interests. During this period, he focused in particular on supporting the rising political career of his son, John Quincy Adams. Adams' failure in the election led to the end of his political career and retirement. However, Adams' political legacy and contributions to American democracy continued to be remembered for a long time. After the end of John Adams' political career, Adams returned to Massachusetts with his family, where he preferred to lead a peaceful life. Here are some important details about this period. After moving away from the political arena, Adams preferred to spend time with his family and focus on his personal interests. In particular, his close ties with his wife Abigail Adams were an important source of support for him during this period of his life. His letters with Abigail Adams remained an important part of his intellectual legacy. These letters provide important information about the political atmosphere, social life, and family relations of that period and allow us to understand his ideas and thoughts in depth. During this period of his life, Adams continued to remain a respected figure due to his contributions to American democracy and his leadership in the struggle for independence. His political vision and decisive leadership continue to be remembered as one of the major turning points in American history. During his later life, Adams' national and intellectual legacy will forever be remembered and respected for his contributions to the evolution and shaping of American democracy. John Adams died on July 4, 1826, the Independence Day of the United States, at the age of exactly 90. His death, coincidentally, occurred on the same day as the death of Thomas Jefferson. This accidental event was given a symbolic meaning by many people and remained a remarkable event throughout history. Adams' death was met with great mourning and commemoration in American history for his contributions to the struggle for independence and the establishment of American democracy. Adams' leadership abilities, political vision, and courage and determination as a statesman have earned him an unforgettable place in American history. After his death, Adams' legacy and leadership have continued to be remembered with respect and appreciation for his contributions to the development and evolution of American democracy. He is considered one of the turning points in American history, and his role and leadership in the struggle for independence will live forever in the national memory. John Adams was an important figure who had a long-lasting impact on the American legal system and played an important role in legal thought. In particular, it has played a decisive role in shaping the debate on the strengthening and powers of the federal government. Adams' legal legacy includes many basic principles related to the development and legal structuring of the American constitutional order. In particular, his ideas about the balance between the powers of the federal government and the powers of the states are among the cornerstones of the American legal system. Decrease. Adams' stance emphasizing the powers of the federal government and supporting centralized authority was influential in the development of American constitutional law. This attitude reflects an understanding of the strengthening of the federal government and reflects the centralistic tendencies of the American legal system. His legal legacy has long remained the focus of debates, especially about the powers and limits of the federal government. Adams' legal ideas and thoughts occupy an important place in legal history due to his contributions to the American legal system and the constitutional order. The diplomatic legacy of John Adams is full of the critical role he played in the beginning of the foreign relations of the United States and the achievements he achieved during the American struggle for independence. Adams' contributions and achievements in the field of diplomacy have left an unforgettable mark on American history. During the struggle for independence, Adams' diplomatic activities in Europe allowed the American revolutionaries to be recognized and supported internationally. His mission, especially in France, played a critical role in the victory of the American Revolutionary War. Adams' diplomatic legacy, along with the victories achieved by the United States in the struggle for independence, played an important role in promoting American values and progress on the international stage. His leadership helped the American revolutionaries gain international respect and declare independence. Adams' contributions in the field of diplomacy have played a decisive role in the shaping of international relations and the evolution of American history. He will continue to be remembered as an unforgettable diplomat in American history and appreciated for his contributions to the success of the American struggle for independence. Under the leadership of John Adams, the Federalist Party's policies of strengthening the central government and developing the national economy deeply influenced the early political and economic structure of the United States. Adams' leadership shaped this critical period of American history with his policies on federalism and the strengthening of the central government. The Federalist Party aimed to strengthen the powers of the central government and support the national economy during the Adams era. These policies included the strengthening of the National Defense Force and foreign relations, as well as practical steps such as the creation of the tax system and national banking systems. Under Adams' leadership, these policies, which emphasized the powers of the central government, played an important role in the development of the American federal system. The decisions taken and the policies created during this period influenced the early structuring of the American government and the adoption of federalism in the following years. Adams' leadership in federalism and the strengthening of the central government is considered one of the main elements that shaped the early political and economic structure of American history. These policies played an important role in the formation of the national identity of the United States at that time and in the early strengthening of the state. John Adams is considered an important figure in one of the turning points of American history. The critical role it played during and after the Revolution constitutes one of the important turns in the founding and early history of the United States. Adams' leadership and vision have made lasting contributions to American democracy and the legal system. His active role in the struggle for independence has a decisive influence on the formation of national identity and American values. Adams' leadership played a critical role in bringing American revolutionaries together and strengthening decency in the struggle for independence. In addition, the determination and leadership displayed by Adams throughout his political career have been decisive in the evolution and shaping of American democracy. His policies of federalism and the strengthening of the central government have been decried as the cornerstones of the American legal system. John Adams will continue to be remembered as an unforgettable figure in American history, and his legacy will forever be remembered for his enduring contributions to American democracy and the legal system.